Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And we're back at it here.
You bet. Yeah.
After a week off. And
Fair week in Nilsville.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bustling activity across the street.
A lot of stuff going on. Really starting today, I guess, is where it really starts.
Yeah.
And you can join us over at our WCCN radio tent, the big white and yellow tent. And we're also broadcasting on 98.5 FM and 1370 AM WCCN from noon to 5 through Sunday.
I think that's
today.
the only place that tent has ever been. It's right there on the corner of the fairgrounds.
And we found out, not official, but we're pretty close to official. 1968 is when it started.
Okay.
The radio tent at the fair.
Okay.
Because the building here, the Wisconsin Pavilion came in 67.
Yes. Yeah.
So the following year then.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, I would have started showing at the fair in about 69. So that's all I remember.
Yeah,
so.
it's always been there for those of us in that age group.
We're really showing our age today, aren't we?
It's always been there. All right. Again, a reminder, if you missed some of our shows, you can archive them on our website, cwbradio.com. And, we're going to talk a little baseball to start off. A number of area teams were involved in Legion state tournaments over the weekend.
Well, of course, we first talk about Stratford over in the single A over in Osseo, taking her all the way to the finals before being edged out, I believe, by Lemira.
Lemira, in 10 innings.
Yeah, but they had nice wins over, I believe, Viroqua and Westby in that tournament. And Stratford, I believe 2 or 3 years ago, they went Legion on their own. Mostly before that, their guys always went to Marshfield, but they have become a force in A. And
Viroqua is a team that's always been good in Legion baseball.
Absolutely. And that goes back to, they used to be the big summer, when WIA had summer.
Yep.
All the schools in that area played summer ball, and it's a big thing in the towns, too. So
Stratford ends their season 16-9, but making it to the championship. That's not easy.
I said it's kind of crazy. Now those kids, Jack Tubbs had a great tournament, and a couple others turn around and got to go put the pads on now.
Right away, get into football. Also, the Marshfield Post 54 Legion team was at the Class AAA tournament in Wisconsin Rapids, and a couple of those guys made the all-tournament team.
Owen Griesbach from Marshfield, I believe he'll be a senior next year, and then Bryce Erickson, what can we say, Larry?
Yeah.
Finishing off basically his high school career and making the all-tournament team. And it was great to see Bryce go over and play Legion ball this year, and he really succeeded well. He became a big part of that team. And
they play a lot of ball during the summer.
Oh, man. They're going just about probably 2-3 nights a week, and usually something on the weekends. So
that's a big commitment to play in that.
Absolutely. So,
but those two guys made that all-tournament team, and Eau Claire and De Pere finished first and second, and now they're playing in the Great Lakes Regional down in Carroll Stream, Illinois. Not sure where that is, but never heard of it.
Yeah, you're the traveler, so
I know. I've never been through that one. Maybe I have. Maybe I'm assuming it must be big enough to have a regional.
South of Chicago, I'm not real familiar with.
Yeah.
So.
That began yesterday, and that winner moves on to the American Legion World Series in Shelby, North Carolina.
Yeah, they really take this all out, the American Legion. Man, oh man. So, and of course the All-Stars will be at County American Family Field on
you're
Saturday.
About 3 times back with
that. I almost had Miller Park come out too, but American Family Field, and they will be playing, I believe, after the regular game on Saturday. I believe.
Yep, August 11th.
Yep. So.
And a few guys are down there from our area. Tanner Harabi of Medford, Dylan Dobratz of Wausau, Grant Warren of Marathon, Brylan Nystrom of Plover, Nate Langben, of DC Everest, Caleb Ellis and Cannon Plowman of Wisconsin Rapids. 48 seniors are down there playing in that game.
You bet. So
they're again Legion.
Legion just going on and on, but what a thrill to go to play at that field. So
you bet. You bet.
So.
All right, and also Legion. There's also Legion softball. I never knew that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of new. But
it must be.
Yeah. I don't think there's any around here hardly, though, that I know of. So,
but Fall Creek, Post 376, won the Division II softball championship.
Yeah, and that goes right along with their WIA Division IV state championship this year. So, and I'll tell you, what a way to keep those girls playing in the summer, Larry. So.
All right, so there you go. That's Legion baseball and softball that's going on. And another baseball over west of this area, but it's the Chippewa River Baseball League. and that's where the Osseo Merchants and teams like the
Eau Claire Cavaliers,
Eau Claire Bears,
yeah,
all play in that league. And the Osseo Merchants pitcher Luke Eide, and that name sounds familiar. Where was he from? Cadott?
I believe so. No, Whitehall.
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 Okay. He earned MVP and Pitcher of the Year honors, and also the Merchants coach Aaron Hagberg was named Manager of the Year.
And of course, the Merchants have been solid, and of course, the Matson boys from Neillsville have been a long time participant over there with the Merchants.
In fact, Logan Matson was a Gold Glove winner on the infield.
And the Eau Claire Cavaliers were the champions this year, and there's a team that's been around for a long, long time, is the Eau Claire Cavaliers, and before the Eau Claire Express and the Northwood Leads came along, the Eau Claire Cavaliers were the big thing in summer baseball in Eau Claire. So
yes, it was. All right, and the WIAA has saluted 27 schools that fulfilled criteria to be named recipients of the Award of Excellence last year in Owen Withee.
Yeah, isn't that great? It's not something you think about Owen Withee, but very strong up there, and I think it starts right at the top with Superintendent Bob Houts, and just kind of works their way down, and a lot of pretty nice, classy kids that we've seen play over the last few years, and congratulations to them. So
First time they've won that award.
Yep. So
And they'll presented the award at their respective districts area meeting in September.
yeah, that is quite an honor when you think of only 27 schools in the state of Wisconsin. So.
Right, yeah, there's a lot of schools.
Yes.
There's a lot of schools. All right, turning our attention now to football. Of course, 11-player football practice began this week. 8-player football begins next week.
Yep.
But they are starting to preview some of the conferences.
Yeah, With Sports came out with the Clover Belt day before yesterday, and I guess if I would have drawn them up there, I don't know if I had drawn them up, but I would have started like they did with Stanley Boyd on top. So you've got your starting quarterback, Carter Eisenberger, back, and of course Madden Marr on the outside, but they have 8 starters back on defense, and that was a very stout defense last year, Larry. They are going to be a tough out. So,
Yeah, they are going to be very tough.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you got Storm Thierry on that defensive line.
Yep.
I was just looking at his stats here: 82 tackles, including 26 for loss and 12 sacks.
Yeah, I believe he had 2 or 3 sacks against Neillsville last year. He really came off the ball well, but.
I was a little surprised on some of the other ones. That they had.
I'll tell you what, 2, 3, and 4, I would have flipped. I think, Larry, I think Elk Mound is going to be a good run for second place. I really do. They've got Logan Jerome, their starting quarterback, back. Nice power running. Logan had 11 touchdown passes last year. But then, you've got Mondovi. And Mondovi, yes, they have 8 starters back on defense and their whole offensive line. But they will have a new quarterback, a new running back, and a new tight end. And they are very much a running team, and we'll see what happens there. So,
Yeah, your line is back, but your skill's gone.
I forget their quarterback name, but last 2 years they've had different starting quarterback and good running backs. But who knows what they're going to bring out this year? But then their tight end was very excellent last year too.
Remington. Yeah,
Remington. Yep. So, and then they've got Regis in third, and I don't have a problem with Regis being there, but you look at everything that Bryant Brenner is saying this year. He says this will be the least experienced team he's ever brought out. He has only 4 starters back, but he does have his starting quarterback Owen Weisenberger back, and then also starting running back Everett Tate, who's one of the fastest kids around too. So.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, that's surprising with Regis.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, last year the conference was very tight. Last year, Larry, they played a lot. They did not have the luxury of getting these all these kids out there in the third and fourth quarter in route. They did not have a lot of routes last year, and so that was playing time those kids missed. So
yeah, I know that's what he was talking a little bit about the depth. Maybe lacking a little bit this year.
So.
And you look at some of these guys that are coming back. Some of the top players to watch. Nathan Kurtz, another guy, Fall Creek, but they have Fall Creek picked way down the bottom.
Nathan had a great year last year, 1,861 yards passing, 14 touchdowns. They will have a new coach this year. Tyler Mickelson left the program, but Marcus Wallentiner is the new coach, and Marcus has been there forever. I believe he's got 17 years in the pro.
Okay.
So these kids know him, and they're going to respond, and we'll see. But, I quite honestly, Larry, I think 2 through 7 you could throw them in a hat, and how they come out, and that might be how it happens. So.
Yeah, Neillsville Granton, a team you're going to look at. That's the team that's really going to be a team that everybody's going to watch because they lost a lot of players due to graduation.
Yeah, we'll see. How fast. They've got a couple of non-conference games with New Lisbon and Loyal Greenwood to see if they can bring something together. But that third game against Durand, Arkansas, is going to be a real test. So
Yeah, and Durand, Arkansas is a team that's
Yeah.
finished to pick right ahead of them.
a little bit of a luxury having 3 games at home to start the year.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt when you're a team like Neillsville. Granted,
It doesn't hurt at all.
a rebuilding team, big time.
So we'll see what happens there. But I said everything I've heard about the Warriors, everything is going good and looking good so far. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah, I tell you, when you got to replace that many
oh
seniors,
man, I said you got 3 kids coming back basically who had
Right.
a lot of playing time,
Right.
and you have 1 lineman, 1 back, and 1 receiver coming back. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what these kids got,
Yeah.
and we'll also see how hard they worked on the off season too. So
yeah, they'll have a scrimmage coming up next Friday, the 16th, up in Abbotsford.
okay.
Pretty much the same teams they've always gone against.
And always
Assumption,
a
Marathon,
good,
Black River.
yeah, and good teams to go up against. So
And then the season for 11-player football starts August 23rd.
23rd, New Lisbon at Neillsville is a big one. One that caught my eye right off that was Stanley Boyd and Colby playing opening night.
Oh, wow. Okay. not members of the Clover Belt, both of them anymore, but
that old time,
still
a pretty good old rivalry.
Yes,
And
it
I
is.
always said, Osseo Fairchild is leaving the Clover Belt next year, and that would be the team I would love to see come back to the Clover Belt. Would be Colby, because they have good rivalries with everybody. Probably won't happen because nobody wants to travel, I guess,
Right.
anymore. But I would love to see Colby come back to the Clover Belt, just because that's a Clover Belt member right there, is the Colby Hornets. So
yeah, and again, Osseo, as you mentioned, is
yeah, they are
going to be out. They're going to they
gonna-
dropped their varsity team
Yeah,
this year.
they're having a JV schedule. Every team will get a win on the schedule from Fall Creek. Osseo Fairchild, excuse me. But then they are also able to go schedule a game.
Right.
And Neillsville is playing Aurora Central or something like that. So
From down in Illinois.
yes. So
And a game that's actually going to be played, I believe, in Sun
Prairie.
Yeah,
Yep. So
on a Saturday.
yes, October 5th.
All right, so high school football just around the corner.
Yeah.
One note, though, we had the coaches show scheduled for August 19th, but that has been moved now to August 26th.
Okay.
So Monday, August 26th.
Okay. Well, and then everybody will have a game in then.
Yeah.
And so then they can really give you.
Yeah, give us some
It
stuff.
ain't going to be guessing anymore.
Yeah, right. All right, where are they now as we continue on?
Okay, Larry, speaking of Stanley Boyd, I am going up to Stanley Boyd and talk about Paul Wright. And Paul was a 2009 graduate of Stanley Boyd High School. In the fall, Paul was a 3-year letter winner on the Oriole football team. His sophomore year, the Orioles were 7-4, qualifying for the WIA Division V playoffs, where they lost in Level 2 to Ladysmith. Paul caught 10 passes for 108 yards and 1 touchdown on the season. His junior year, Stanley Boyd was 10-2 on the season, winning the Clover Belt Conference Championship and qualifying for the WIA Division V playoffs, where they would lose in Level 3 to Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser. Paul had 12 receptions for 187 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then because of injuries, he had to become the starting quarterback the last 3 games and completed 26 of 43 passes for 445 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was named to the second team on the Clover Belt All-Conference team. His senior year, the Orioles were 10-2 on the season, qualifying for the WIA Division V playoffs, where they lost to Colby in Level 3. Both of Stanley Boyd's losses that year were to Colby, who would finish at 14-0 and WIA Division V champions. Paul completed 93 of 148 passes for 1,201 yards and 9 touchdowns. He rushed 16 times for 261 yards and 4 touchdowns. On defense, he had 42 tackles and 3 pass interceptions. He was named to the Clover Belt All-Conference second team on defense. In the winter, Paul was a 3-year letter winner on the Oriole basketball team. His sophomore year, the Orioles were 12-9, losing to Osseo Fairchild in the regionals. Paul averaged 7.8 points per game. His junior year, Stanley Boyd was 16-6, losing to Fall Creek in the regionals. Paul averaged 12.5 points per game and was named first team All-Conference on the Clover Belt East All-Conference team. His senior year, the Orioles were 12-10, losing to Fall Creek in the regionals. Paul averaged 14.4 points per game and was named second team All-Conference on the Western Clover Belt All-Conference team. In the spring, Paul was a 4-year letter winner on the Stanley Boyd track team. His freshman year, he was a sectional qualifier in the triple jump and the long jump. His sophomore year, he was a sectional qualifier in the long jump, triple jump, and the 100-meter hurdles. His junior year, he was a sectional qualifier in the 110 hurdles and long jump and was a state qualifier in the triple jump. His senior year, he was a state qualifier in the 110-meter hurdles and the high jump, where his jump of 6 feet tied him for 10th, and the triple jump, where his jump of 41 feet 6 inches earned him 10th place. After graduation, Paul enrolled at UW-Platteville and joined the Pioneer football program. His freshman year, the Pioneers were 5-5. Paul had 10 receptions for 132 yards and 1 touchdown. His sophomore year, Platteville was 7-3 on the season. Paul had 19 receptions for 223 yards and 5 touchdowns. His junior year, the Pioneers were 8-2. Paul had 58 receptions for 545 yards and 6 touchdowns. In a game that season versus UW-La Crosse, Paul had 18 receptions for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. The 18 receptions in a game is still the all-time record for UW-Platteville. His senior year, Platteville was 10-2 on the season, qualifying for the NCAA Division III playoffs, where they lost in the second round to North Central Illinois. Paul had 66 receptions for 837 yards and 5 touchdowns, and was named to the second team All-Conference in the WIAC Conference. Paul graduated from UW-Platteville in 2013 with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Today, Paul is a civil engineer at Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated in Orlando, Florida. Paul and his wife Marissa reside in Summerfeld, Florida. Paul Wright, Larry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Civil engineer.
Yeah, another new one. So,
Wow.
and of course, he comes from kind of an athletic family.
Yep,
His
right.
younger sister was
Jamie.
Jamie was a part of the UW Milwaukee basketball program. So
Yeah.
very talented family.
You bet. All right, where are they now here on Two Guys on Sports here on this Wednesday? One note here. I'll be gone again next week. So
Okay, you're just can't stay home this summer.
yeah. Well, get them done now because once
That's
football
right.
starts,
Yeah.
there's no vacationing after
No,
that.
it's
so.
that's nice, and
Yeah.
it's a nice time of the year to travel too. So
All right. Well, college volleyball, that'll be
Yeah.
coming up later on this month. And the Wisconsin volleyball team predicted to be second in the conference behind Nebraska.
yeah, Nebraska, a very tough team, but that conference as a general is
is.
just a beast. You know, you start talking about Penn State, and now you got the guys from the West coming
Sure,
in,
yeah.
UCLA, USC, and a couple others. So it is going to be a tough tournament. It'll be interesting to see how many qualifiers that conference gets to the NCAA tournament. So
Yeah. And, the Badgers have got some pretty good players back.
yeah, a lot of them back, and a couple of nice new recruits coming in too. So
They open up the season in an exhibition against Bradley on August 20th. And then the regular season begins the AVCA First Serve Showcase in Louisville, August 27th.
yeah, so.
And they're on 18 national appearances on national television.
That's great. And it wasn't that many years ago you didn't even see college volleyball on national TV. So
And now it's going to be on NBC
yes,
2 times.
absolutely.
And both times
Yep,
the Badgers are going to be on.
yep. So yeah, last year, it used to be, they had the other, the Fox Sports Network. That carried quite a few, and of course you could catch a few on ESPN. But this is great that the national networks are picking it up, so everybody can see it. So
Well, I mean, you look at some of these venues. I mean, what had happened last year when that was basketball. But
Nebraska had like 90,000.
That was it, yeah,
Nebraska had 90,000 for a volleyball
yeah,
match.
I mean, I think that's what these
Yeah.
TV networks are
Yeah,
seeing. It's
yeah,
like,
and I said, and that goes, and that is something hockey started really
Yeah.
with their Frozen Four, whatever
Yeah,
they want to call it, the New Year's Day games where they played it in outdoor venues, and now they're doing other sports. They've done some basketball and stuff like that, and it's just kind of neat. The more people you can get in to see, it's just cool. And 90,000 people to see a volleyball game. Whoever thought of that?
Right.
So.
some of them people probably didn't see much.
No, I said,
Because that volleyball court couldn't have been very big on
those
it.
Bob Euchre seats are not as good as you think,
Where did I read that they are going to be doing a baseball game? Yes, at Bristol Motor Speedway next year.
Okay.
So you're talking about different venues.
Bet.
Yeah, the first ever in-season Major League Baseball game in the state of Tennessee.
Well, NASCAR raced at the LA Coliseum, so why not play baseball at Bristol? And you know what, Larry? Bristol holds 80,000 people too. So so
an official announcement on that, by the way, is going to be
and
made on
it
Friday.
is really a cool looking place. I've never been there, but just
That's the short track.
Yeah,
right?
it's a half-mile track and it looks like a big bowl stadium.
Yeah,
Is what
okay,
it looks
that's
like.
the one.
So,
All
yep,
right.
so
Yeah, interesting.
yeah.
Wow. College football also be coming up later on this month. And the Georgia Bulldogs, I guess, no surprise, ranked number 1.
Yeah, you knew they were going to be right there, and we'll see what happens. But their quarterback is right in line for the Heisman Trophy winner, and they've always had a strong defensive team. But the SEC is a bugger to get through. It really is. But Kirby Smart has got a great program going.
Yes, he does.
So it'll be interesting to see how Alabama goes without Nick Saban this year.
Yeah,
so
that'll be interesting. He's been there a long time.
And before him, they weren't very good. We'll see what happens afterwards. So
that's the USA Today coaches poll. The AP poll is going to be coming out on Monday. Yeah. But Ohio State number 2, Oregon, Texas, and Alabama in the top 5.
Tough to argue with that. All 5 solid teams, and
look where they're all from.
Yep,
2 conferences.
2 conferences.
The SEC and the Big Ten.
It just seems to be the way the world is going right now. So
you might as well get used to it.
Yep. So.
The Badgers continue getting ready at UW Platteville. They'll open August 30th against Western Michigan.
And they have an open practice Saturday at Pioneer Stadium. They have an open practice down there. So
get a chance to see the Badgers.
You bet. So a couple.
That'll be an interesting team too.
Yeah, Ben Barton from Stratford will be playing. I believe he's in his 4th year now.
Yeah.
So it'll be great to see that. And he got quite a bit little playing time last year, so we'll see what happens. So, but
all right,
again, we'll see what they come up with quarterback. So
right now they got 2 guys that are kind of battling it out.
And of course they have to replace Braylon Allen too. So
But Ches Malusi still.
Yeah, that is great
there.
that he came back. Hopefully he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
And then they can develop a couple of guys around him. But he definitely can carry the team. He's definitely an A1 back. So So.
All right, and the Packers preseason. Well, preseason actually started last week.
Yeah.
But a lot of teams are going to be playing this week.
Yeah, the Packers, of course, had their family night last week, which was kind of nice. But opening up at Cleveland Saturday, 3:25 game.
Yeah, that's interesting. Normally they don't play in the afternoon.
But Coach LaFleur is talking about giving his starters some playing time to get the rust off.
I heard Jordan Love's going to start.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You play maybe a series or 2 in this game, maybe a quarter or so next week at Denver, and then sit them against, I believe it's Baltimore, the 3rd game. Yeah. So, but I just think it's important. All the years Aaron Rodgers never played in the preseason. And he always seemed like he was rusty in that first game.
Yeah, he did.
And he always would struggle. And I just think it's important to get some of that rust off. And kudos to Coach LaFleur for doing this.
Well, and I think he's got a quarterback that kind of goes along with what he's trying to get through.
And he might be a little more durable too.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So, but.
And, they only got 3 preseason games now.
Yeah, that's right. And you don't have that luxury of that 4th one where you could sit them. You played the first, always you play a series or 2 in the first 2, and then you play the first half in the 3rd game, and then the 4th game you sat.
Yeah.
And that's changed a lot, depending on coach to coach, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're trying to get a lot of players whittled down.
You got to get down to a 53-man roster. Right now you've got 80 guys in camp, and that's only 3 games to get these guys on film, and it's hard to do. So you end up cutting some guys that you may regret later on. So
this is the 26th time the Packers and Browns have played in the preseason.
I know it. I said that back in the '60s when Coach Lombardi was there, that was a constant. Every year they played Cleveland every year. But.
All right, and they have the game against Baltimore. That'll be their only Lambeau Field game.
Yeah.
For the preseason.
And that alternates every year now with 3 preseason games. One year they'll have 2, and then the next year they'll have 1. So.
All right. And, of course, a lot of signings going on here in the last few weeks. And Harrison Butker's highest paid kicker now in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's earned it. He's earned it, no matter what people think about his political views.
Yeah.
But as a kicker, he has earned that. I think he is easily the best kicker. Between him and Justin Tucker from Baltimore, I think they're the best kickers in the NFL. So.
Yeah, and speaking of kickers, Packers have a couple of kickers. I think they just brought another one in.
Yeah, they're really trying to give Carlson, either you're going to get good or you're not going to be with us. So it's
And apparently he's doing pretty well with the competition
absolutely.
against him.
So and he's got another year under his belt too. It's got to be tough being a rookie kicker. So
Yeah.
so
A lot of pressure on you.
And his brother Daniel was his first few years in the league. He was not very good.
No.
I remember when he kicked for Minnesota, he was
Right.
awful.
He was.
And now out in Las Vegas, he's become one of the best kickers in the NFL. So maybe you got to be just a little bit patient with him. So
Yeah,
I
sometimes.
said, if they had cut Mason Crosby every time he had a bad stretch, he wouldn't have lasted.
No, he wouldn't have lasted very long. The Brewers, well, I tell you, they keep going, and you look at the standings, and
They don't
they're
change,
still
do
6
they?
games ahead.
I said, I was talking about that guy. When the Central Division wins, they all win, and when they and they all lose. But they finish up in Atlanta today, and then I think it's a big series this weekend with Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
They have not been playing well at home, Larry. The last few series at home, they have not won.
No.
So, and I think you got these division teams you got to beat. And then they've got the Dodgers coming in Monday through Wednesday too next week too.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so get a few wins there in that Red Series.
Tuesday night, Chicago White Sox won a game, Larry.
Wow, yeah, they ended that 21-game losing
Yeah,
streak.
and I said this was interesting. They had this on TBS. After that game, they were 28-87, but earlier this season, the White Sox also had a 14-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Well, you take the 21 out of there and the 14, and their record would still their winning percentage would still be the worst in in major leagues.
They've
So,
lost a lot of games.
yeah, I said it's got to be very depressing being a fan there right now. And it was only 2 or 3 years ago they were division
know.
champions.
That's
I don't
just
know how
weird.
it falls off that bad. And they have some good talent
They
on
do,
that team.
yeah.
They have very good pitching. Everybody wanted Garrett Crochet during
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's an interesting situation there in Chicago. The Olympics, of course, going to be finishing up this weekend, but a lot of great things for the U.S.
yeah, boy, are they? I said you go through swimming and gymnastics and the track, all been great, but the U.S. has just been exceptional in all of them. So, and you've still got the men's and women basketball to go yet, the women's volleyball. So, they've got a huge lead now, and I don't see it letting up at all. So they are just having a fantastic, and they're winning things that they hadn't won in a long. They won a rowing gold medal. I think they hadn't did that since the '60s. And then they had some team win a fencing thing. I didn't even know they had a good. I said,
And then there was a guy. His name is Hampton Morris,
yeah,
20-year-old. He trains in his garage in Georgia, and Wednesday became the first U.S. men's weightlifter to take home a medal of any color at the games in 4 decades.
wow, yeah, because that's always been kind of a Russian, German kind of thing, So, but
Yeah, he won the bronze.
yeah.
But yeah, you don't see
They're
American
winning
weightlifters.
medals in places they never ever
right.
did before. So
And how about the guy that came back in that
mile?
Mile.
Yeah.
Wow.
That had to be one of the craziest last laps I have ever seen. I mean, he was 5th going into that last lap, and
And he said it when they were talking to him that he thought the 2 guys that were ahead of him were kind of just thought they were going to be battling each other, and he come on the inside. I don't think they ever seen him.
yeah. Later today, the 200 meter final, Kenny Bednarik from Rice Lake, Noah Lyles. The 100 meter was unbelievable, and I think this 200 is going to be just the same. So.
Yeah. What was that? A photo finish in that 100?
Yeah. Kenny Bednarik finished 7th in the 100. And I think he had like a 9.85 or something like that. My
ridiculous.
goodness.
Yeah, I think they said the last place guy would have been first place
Yeah.
in a number of the other Olympics over the years.
I said I've been listening to some of the comments talk about this year's men's basketball team and how they think it's as good as the Dream Team of '92, and I don't see how you can even compare the two. Quite honestly, Larry, international basketball is 100 times better in 2024 than it was in 1992. It's become a global game, and don't get me wrong, the '92 Dream Team was great. I mean, 11 of the 12 people on that team are in the Hall of Fame, plus the head coach and the assistant coach. So.
Yeah.
But I think it's a tougher road to that gold medal today than it was in 1992.
Even though the Americans aren't making it look that way right
No,
now.
right now, and that's what I mean. And the team in '92 was probably a little older than this one too. I mean, other than LeBron.
Right. All right, so that wraps up this weekend, and again, high school football getting underway
Yep.
soon. So a lot of stuff is coming down the pike here.
Yep. By the time we come back, volleyball will be in practice, cross country will be in practice. So it's fall is here before we know it. So
It's go time.
yeah, let's go.
It's go time.
Hit the road.
All right, again, we will not be with you next week, but we'll return the following week for more Two Guys on Sports. And that'll do it for this time. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again next time.